Today we're going to take ratios and convert them to percentages. So we've been looking at grades. How do we go from a ratio to a grade? So looking at this old homework sheet, they completed 8 out of 10 assignments. That's like out of 100 points. When we look at grades, we're looking at a 100-point scale. So I can do 10 times 10 is 100, and 8 times 10 is an 80. So they made an 80% or a B. Okay, if they did 6.5 out of 10, again, we're multiplying by 100. And that's going to be 65%, which is a failing. How many assignments would they have to complete to make a 70%? So they have 70 out of 100. How many out of 10? Well, 100 divided by 10 is 10, so I divide 70 by 10 to get 7. But, of course, not all homework sheets have 10 assignments. So let's say it was something random like 8 assignments. To figure out what they would make, I would do a similar process. Okay, I'd see what number times 8 is 100, and that's 12.5. So then I do the top number, so 5 times 12.5, and I get a 62.5. So they made a 62.5 or an F. Why don't you go ahead and figure out what grades the students would make if they did 3 out of 6 assignments, 15 out of 20, and 27 out of 30. So 3 out of 6 would be a 50%. 15 out of 20 would be 75%. And then 27 out of 30 would be 90%. So we can also use percentages to find parts, not just the parts of the ratio. So let's say I assign 20 math problems for homework, and one of my students completed 80% of the homework problems. How many did they complete? So we have 20 total. So 80% out of 100. So very similar. 20 times 5 is 100. So what times 5 is 80? So I'm going to divide 80 by 5, and I get 16 problems. Okay, the next night I assigned 5 math problems for homework, and the same student completed 40% of them. How many did they complete? So, out of 5, how many did they complete? And we have 40 out of 100. So 100 divided by 20 is 5. So I divide 40 by 20 and I get 2 problems. In an apartment complex, 4 out of every 5 apartments are occupied. What percentage? So what I would do is do 4 out of 5, then 2 100, 5 times 20, and that's going to be 80. In West Forsyth, there are 750 freshmen. This is 28% of the entire student population. How many students are there total at West? So we have 750 over some number is equal to 28 over 100. So 750 divided by 26.786, I'm rounding, is 28. So I got to multiply 100 by that number, and I'll get 2678.57. You can't have that many students, so we'll round to 2,678 students. On my most recent test, 28 students passed. This is 87.5% of your class. How many students are in the class? So 28 out of how many passed? This is equal to 87.5 over 100. So I divide 87.5 by 3.125. So I'm going to divide 100 by 3.125. And I get 32. All right, go ahead and try the next 4 problems. Okay, Felix made a 16.67, which is an F. Eduardo made a 92.31, which is an A. Marie got 60% of the problems correct. Of the 15 problems, so she got 9 correct. She made an F. Deanna made a 7D on her quiz that had 20 questions. And she got 14 right, and that is a C. So I want you to stop this video and think, what do the different letter grades mean? Does this calculation accurately affect the learning? Think about the range of grades each letter grade represents. All right, to find the average, we add all the values and divide by the number of values. Okay, so that's how we find the mean. So let's do that for 86, 92, 63, 79, 98, 98, and 99. Let's add 86 plus 92 plus 63 plus 79 plus 98 plus 98 plus 99 and divide that by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. And I get 615 divided by 7, which is an 87.86. Okay? There's different central tendencies we can use to talk about what a typical grade would be. So normally we use the average. Okay? I can also use the median, which is the middlemost number. So I put my numbers in order from least to greatest. So 63, 79, 86, 92, 98, 98, and 99. And then I cross off until I get to the middle number. So that would be a 92. Okay? And then the mode is the most that happens. So here, the number that occurs the most frequently is a 98. Okay, let's do that for these other 2 problems. So first we're going to find the mean, the average. So we add 62 plus 81 plus 86 plus 83 plus 89 plus 87 plus 86 plus 90 and divide by 8. And we get 83. Okay, if we do the median, we start with 62, then 81, 83, 86, 86, 87, 89, 90. Cross off till we get to the middle. I think I missed a number. And I get 2 numbers in the middle, so I add them, find the average, which would just be an 86. And then the number that occurs the most is also 86. Go ahead and find the average, or the mean, the median, and the mode for the formative grades. So the average is 79.57. The median, let's see. is a 77, and the mode is a 75. So the mean is the most common way to describe an average in the context of grading. A lot of times we use the mean, but something to think about is how do much higher, much lower numbers affect the mean, and is there a more accurate way to measure what someone would typically get? So when we're doing grades, though, certain types of assignments have more weight than another. For example, if you take a test, that is more weighted than a quiz. Like, it's worth more. We use this semester average. So we're going to use the determine the semester average for the second test grade and the formative grades to see what you have for semester. And we're going to use the mean because that's what we use. So it's 80% summative and 20% formative. So that's going to be 0.80 times 83 plus 0.2 times 79.57. So 80% of your grade is your average for summatives, 20% is your average for formatives. And then I just plug that into my calculator. And I get 82.314 rounded to 82.31. So let's say that's your first semester grade, and then second semester grade is an 88. What is your course average? So it's 50%, so 0.5 times 82.31 plus 50% is the 88. And we get 85.16. I'd like you to go ahead and find or answer number 1. Okay. Last thing I'm going to talk about with you guys is adding or subtracting percentages. So there's a Forsyth Virtual policy that 20% deduction if you turn in an assignment late. And we went back and forth. Does this mean 20% of the grade or 20 points off? What does that mean? So for 100, the first example would be 100 minus 0.2 times 100, which is an 80. So the person would make an 80. If they took 20 points off, it would still be an 80. Okay? For an 80, that'd be 80 minus 0.2 times an 80. And that would be a 64, but if I just subtracted 20 points, that would be a 60. Okay, looking at this third one. So that would be a 52, but with the other policy, it'd be a 45. Okay, so that kind of, I want you to think, is there a difference? Which is more fair? So on and so forth. We can also add and subtract percentages with different scenarios. So a shirt is $20 and then 25% off. What is the new cost? So I would do 20 minus 0.25 times 20. And that is $15. Pair of pants that normally cost $30 is 10% off plus 7.25% sales tax. What is the new cost? So first we do 30 minus 10% of 30. And that's $27 plus 7.25% sales tax. So remember, we moved that decimal, 2 spots. So that's going to be 0.0725 times 27. I plug that into my calculator. And I get 28.9575, which is going to round to 2 decimal places, and that's going to be $28.96. A table that cost $50 is now $40. How much percent off was it? So since I'm trying to find the percent off, I'm trying to figure out, okay, that $10 difference what percent of that is 50? Or what percent is that of 50? So 10 over 50 equals what over 100? That's 50 times 2. So I do 10 times 2, and I get 20. So 20% off. I'm not going to go over these next ones. I'd like you to try them on your own because you're going to use that to help with your grading policy project.